I am Michelle from Together We Are One, and we are super excited to have you here today. And today we have a very special guest, and as you may see, we have extra girls here, and they are on fire. They are ready to go today. Today is our last episode of Love versus Loveless, and we're going to be speaking about different topics of love. I want to remind everyone that the testimonies that we share has nothing to do with any person. It has to do with what we believe, what we went through. It's our story. We're not here to judge anyone, to condemn anyone. We're here to educate. We're here to empower, equip women, or everyone, not just women, because this talk show is really a family talk show. It is for everyone.
I don't see it.
So with that being said, we are going to get started.
I don't see it.
Okay, we have technical challenges, so give me a moment.
It's not coming out nowhere. I did that. I hit that.
Did you check my regular page?
I mean, it always pops up. When you hit Together Do We Are One, it comes out automatically. Look,
You have to behave.
nothing's coming up. See? This is the Together We Are One page. Nothing's coming up.
Okay.
So you might as well hit the other one then.
Okay.
The blue one, right?
Alright, we go back up. Already good.
Yes. But wait a minute, I'm not ready yet.
Also, that's
Not
yet.
my thing is, the camera's here.
You know, it's in the way.
I understand, honey. What you don't understand is that
You know, but
Nutmeg told me that we're looking at this phone camera and not that one, and so when they go to promote it, it looks like our eyes are not crossing with
so
the
look at
camera.
this camera. Don't forget. What you gonna look at then?
So we're gonna look at this one.
We're gonna look at that?
Yeah.
Move it a little bit because you got it.
Oh, you got it.
It's kind of cut off.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Just un poquito más para to the left. Ching ching.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
You know Spanish? Ching ching.
I understand it. So sweet.
Okay. It's not.
His mama is Boricua like your
Oh,
mother.
see?
So he's half.
Are you half and half like me?
Yeah,
Wow.
I have a great nephew.
Okay.
Ready? 5, 4,
Yeah.
3.
Oh, yeah, so he's
Come on, I want to watch a movie.
Ready?
Nelson. Nelson, wait.
Breathe in.
I need to
Oh,
read.
You're late. You got 4 minutes late. You're ready. Come on. Ready?
No,
1.
I'm not ready.
She remember.
Give me a second, dear. Brian, we're not ready, so I know you know not to
Edit.
The edit.
edit.
Hi, Brian.
Brian.
Thank you for editing.
Remember me?
I don't know, but
I know,
Brian's
but
in that
not
camera over there.
Is it a person?
You're from Nutmeg, and these are the nuts.
What the What's that?
You just proved it right.
I mean, come on, that just came out a little weird. That's
I know,
all.
I'm sorry, that didn't sound right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let me get a drink of
Brian
water.
knows. He's.
Ready?
Edit that out, Brian.
1,
Edit that out. Okay.
2,
Yeah.
3.
Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Together We Are One, and we are excited to be here. We have a great panelist, we have a wonderful guest speaker, and we're excited. Today is our last episode about love versus loveless, and we're going to be sharing our testimonies. We want to remind you that when we share what we have gone through, it has nothing to do with judging anyone, condemning, or persecuting anyone. It really is all about sharing what we have gone through. It's our story in the hope to help you with yours. Mm-hmm. Many people believe that they're the only person going through this situation, that they don't know who to go to, they don't know who to talk to, right? And so by us sharing our testimony, the hope is that you'll know that you're not alone in whatever situation you're going through. But let me rewind for a minute. I am Michelle, and you are?
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Marisol.
I'm Barbara.
Miranda.
And I'm Essie.
And together,
We are one.
So, again, we're all about educating, encouraging, empowering, and equipping you. And the hope is that you will receive healing in one way or another, that there will be some kind of breakthrough, and that you will be able to move forward. That's what God wants. I've also shared with you that we are not about religion. We are faith-based, and so you will hear us sharing some of our testimonies about what the Lord has done in our lives, right?
Amen.
Again. So, Johnny, tell us. We have this young, handsome man, and he is very prophetic in poetry, and he is single, and he is handsome, and what else can I share? Look at him. Look at that smile. He's got a great smile, great personality, just throwing it out there. Johnny, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
What about myself?
Well, where you from? Do you have any siblings? Do you have any children? Do you live,
So, I'm 23.
Mm-hmm.
I live alone. I was raised by both parents. My mother is from Puerto Rico. My dad's from upstate New York. So, it's half white, half Puerto Rican. I like to call myself a New Yorican because technically it counts.
Yeah.
But, and then I have an older sister. She's 25. Her and her husband live out in upstate New York. So, yeah.
All right. So, I know that we're talking about love. I know that you're very young. But can you share with us a little bit about when growing up, did you feel or did you have that relationship and intimacy, or many parents, many people, right, have not had a great relationship with their parents growing up. They didn't have love. They didn't know what love was. What is love supposed to be like? What is it supposed to look like and feel, right? So how was it for you growing up with your family? Let's start there first.
So growing up, I felt very loved, but I felt too loved
Mm-hmm.
because my parents always loved on me. They always cared for me, but when times got tough, they clearly did what they wanted and everything out of love. But for me, I would push that away because I was like, no, now you're being too much. No, like, let me handle it. Let me do this. Like, I got it. And so as they were trying to pour their love, I was trying to push it away. And that was something I was struggling with because it was, I think the factor that was there was the fact that they're trying to love me the way they love rather than knowing what I need. So I feel like as parents sometimes it's tough because as parents, you want to love on your kids, you want to be there and you want to have their back, but sometimes it could be too much, because I guess a good example was when I was getting bullied in elementary school. I was getting bullied and my mom would call the school and I'm like, Mom, why'd you do it? And it would always get me mad because I get she wanted to do it out of love, but that only made issues worse for myself because then the principal calls in myself and then the other kid and then all right guys, talk, be good, shake hands, hug, whatever, and then that's it. But that's all that you see. That's all that the principal or advisors see from that point. They don't see what happens in the halls or what happens in the classroom after that. And so like in that aspect, I thank my mom for having my back and loving on me for it, but at the same time, that kind of created more issues for myself,
So you shared that you were being bullied, and that your mom was trying to be overprotective. And this is good for these two girls here.
That's a word right there because I need to hear this.
Yes, and just as you were saying, I said this is for Barb and for Miranda, because a lot of times as parents we want to overly love our children, overly protect them. For those of us that know or believe we know what love is, right? And so what we do is instead of helping them, we hurt them because we overdo it. We don't want them to go through the pain that we've been through, right? We don't want them to struggle like we have struggled. And so, like Johnny said, sometimes we can be overbearing with our children. And what that's gonna do is push them away. And I shared before, you know, sometimes you can't like choke your situation, grab it too much because you'll choke it. And you can't like be too loose because it'll slip away. You gotta have like a medium happy where you love your children, but you need to let them make their own decisions, and they have to learn on their own. So we've all been, you know, loved and loveless here. We've all gone through a little bit of everything. But the truth is that he was going through a situation that he felt that through too much love was really hurting him instead of helping him, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying? So when you were being bullied, what did that feel like for you?
When I was getting bullied, you know, it was tough because I knew like my parents loved me, but at the same time I wanted my friends to love me. And I guess that's something that I touched upon this past summer actually. I did a video that was going out to 41 middle schools in Connecticut, and it was talking about being loved. And it's talking about the fact that that a lot of us struggle with trying to be loved by everybody. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we want that, but nobody's gonna accept that. Because us trying to be loved by everyone else, we're not being ourselves. So they're starting to love you for a new version of you rather than who you are. And so that was something I was struggling with a lot because I was trying to find that love because, yeah, I always knew my parents had my back. I always knew my parents loved me. But I guess for the longest, I was never good enough. That was never good enough for myself because I always wanted to be that funny guy, which I'll always say stupid stuff and get myself into trouble, or I always want to do stupid things and then end up getting hurt, you know? So it was always a struggle to find where that love mattered and I guess my definition of love, you know? Because it was always kind of, it was funny because actually the other day I was on the phone with a friend and I was telling her that I'm like, dude, like I'm really bored. It sucks that you moved away because I wish you were here so then we could hang out because it's honestly probably one of my best friends. It's like a big sister to me. And she's like, Johnny, you're so popular. Just because I was getting phone calls while me and her are talking, I'm like, hold on, I'll call you right back. And so she's like, Johnny, you're popular. I'm like, no, there's a difference between being popular and being well known.
Yes.
Because I was like, you know, I'm very well known, but I'm not popular. And the thing was, I was always longing to be popular. That's why I'm very well known. Is because I go around and I'm saying, hey, this is who I am. I walk into a new environment and make sure everyone knows me. That's why when I go to a new church, within like a month, I'm already involved. Like people already know me due to the fact that that's a personality I give off.
And that's how I met him. So I met him, he was so adorable. And and this was a few years ago, like 3 years ago, right?
And at Aki's book release,
Yeah. That's where I met him, at Aki's book release in New Britain. And so, and God has placed him in my heart several times. So that's, you know, why he's here today. We've kept in touch, not quite often, but enough that, you know, I know where to reach him and how to reach him. So let me ask you something. When you think of the word love, what comes to your mind? For you, what is the meaning of love?
It's an action. A lot of people say that love's a feeling, but love's not even close to a feeling. Love's a person and love's an action. You know, that's why the spoken word I'm writing is called Love. And it was the weirdest thing ever because I was watching a TV show and it was a secular TV show and God just put love in my mind in the middle of the show, so I couldn't even focus on the show anymore. I'm just like, come on, man, I'm watching my show right now, really. And so I just pulled out my phone and I started writing down notes and writing down the spoken word. And the way I like to break down love is listen, observe, visualize, express. Because especially for lonely people, right? When you're feeling lonely.
Can you repeat that again?
So it's listen, observe, visualize, express. And that's what love to me means. You know, because love is an action, so how do you show that? And it's by, like when someone's lonely, you know, you listen. They say, hey, you know, I'm feeling lonely. Okay, tell me how. So you listen. Then, when you're around them, you observe. And you try and understand exactly how they're lonely. Then you visualize in your head, okay, how can I help? What is it that I can help them not feel so lonely? Now it's time to express it and really step out and do that. And I feel like, because I could say the corny First Corinthians 13 13,
Yeah.
talking about, love is patient, love is kind, but kindness, patience, everything that love is not a feeling. I can still be kind and be so mad at you and not even like you. But liking is a feeling, while love is an action and a lifestyle.
Wow,
Yes.
that was deep,
Love.
and he's
Yes.
23 years old. I'm really hoping that there's some men out there that really
Wow.
captivated this, because that was very deep, and that's his gift. That's a gift that God has given him. I see he's young, you're young. When you listen to him speak, what comes to your mind?
He's very relatable. There's a lot of things that he's saying that like I can really relate to. Like, for example, when he says that he's well known but not popular, it's like a lot of people our age, especially with social media and the likes on social media and all those things, you tend to want more of those instead of just being. So by wanting more of those, you tend to try and fit into people's ideas of what you want them, what you think you want them. Oh crap! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Like what you think they want you to be. Yes. So you kind of change yourself for that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that word.
So we're human. This is real, raw, and transparent.
Exactly.
So we're not gonna, get any farther than that. But I remember one of the talk shows, you did express that when you were younger, you felt a sense of rejection, you were traumatized, and you wanted to be loved and liked by many.
Yeah.
And you wanted to fit in, and people bullied you as well.
Right.
So you hear him about, being bullied.
Yeah.
And you're saying how you can relate, because Essie has an amazing, beautiful voice. And it's true what she says. She's known, right, of a lot of people, but I didn't say that right. She's known from, but people don't really know her heart. They're not really her friends. They don't really love her, embrace with her, help her, right? Be there for her when things are good and not so good. And I'm sure that we've all experienced that, right? We all want to tend to have this love. Our love is different than your love, right? Everybody has a different love language, right?
Right.
And some people have this thought that, oh, I bought you this house, so I love you. No, that's not love. You bought me the house. Thank you. That was God that did it through you. But I'm just saying, right? There's some people. No. I'm just saying, babe. I love you and appreciate it. It wasn't about you. It was just in general. But I'm just saying, right? Other people, you have other relationships, right? That they are very mistreated and they're jealous and they beat on the other significant other and they say, you made me do it. It's because I love you so much that I beat you or that I hurt you, right? There are other people that feel like, if I love you, I need to be with you 24/7.
Yes.
And is that really love? Because love, right? True love never fails. And love casts out all sins, right? There should not be fear when there is love. Because fear has to do with punishment.
That's good.
Fear has to do with punishment. So we love someone, we should trust and believe that it's okay. You do your thing, I do my thing. I know that when I first got married with my husband, thank God he's not like that anymore. God did a mighty work. But for him, and I know of a lot of women that are like this, they feel like they need to be in control and have their significant other there 24/7. Where are you? Why aren't you home? Because of past hurting relationships, right? So not only hurting relationships, but when you're in a relationship and you believe that that person is supposed to love you, or your family members, right, and they hurt you or they mistreat you or they cheat on you, it gives you a lack of security, of identity. And you want to be loved, but you're confusing love with lust, and you're confusing love with wanting, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? So have you experienced any of that?
Yeah.
Real raw and transparent here.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of funny that that's something you mentioned, because I was at this Bible study on Tuesday talking about relationships. And it was viewing it from the guy's perspective, or the guy's role. And we were watching this video, and this pastor was saying how there's that the way that it is that there's boys and then there's men.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But we don't have men anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not fully boys. So we came up with this new term called dudes. So the issue is that men are supposed to take responsibility while boys just want to point the finger, oh, well, it's your fault. Like, what was it? It was Sunday. Sunday I got into a fight with a friend.
A
And
disagreement, not a fight.
Okay.
yeah,
A
we
disagreement.
can say a strong disagreement.
Okay. Strong fellowship, strong fellowship.
And I said something I really shouldn't have said. And I was very upset. Didn't feel bad for it at all. But the next day, as I was thinking about it, I texted my friend and I was like, hey, look, I felt very disrespected by what you said. And I lost all trust in you since you laughed straight to my face. But that doesn't give me an excuse for what I said. I'm like, I said what I said and I'm sorry for that, so I'm going to apologize for what I said, but everything else I'm not apologizing for. Because I'm not going to apologize for what you did, but I also want you to understand that I'm taking responsibility, you know, and I guess that's always been a tough thing, because even relationships I've been in, you know, I'm more the type that's not clingy, but it's like I care. So I'm always want to be around you. I always want to hang out. Always want to know, like, hey, how's your day going? Hey, what are you up to? Hey, let me do something nice for you, you know? And it's tough because
It isn't received by
exactly.
others.
Like some people will
Both
receive it, and then
understood.
some people will be like, oh, well, you're being too much, or
Right.
I
They don't know.
saw this TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this TikTok, and I sent it to my cousin yesterday, and it was about ladies, don't get offended, but it's about ladies,
Mm-hmm.
about how a lot of times girls say, you know, why are you too good for me? Why are you too nice? And the issue with that is because chivalry isn't dead,
No, it's not.
but it's a part where sometimes women are accepting otherwise, and they're not realizing what chivalry is anymore.
Right.
Right.
Like,
And you
I want
share
to
what that
open-
Yeah,
word is,
because,
Marisol.
So-
I never heard that word.
I'm
So-
looking at her like.
Explain.
Chivalry, however you say it,
Yeah.
is like, it's a gentleman when you really think about
Yeah.
it. Like when a guy says, "Oh no, I got that," and opens the door for you, or when the
Okay.
guy's just being very polite and very sweet, like that's how guys are. That's how men are.
Should be.
Should be.
Well, yeah.
Should
That-
be.
that-
I mean,
that-
you
that-
can say
that-
men
that-
and
should-
boys, so
yeah,
men.
yeah,
Yeah.
like men are supposed to be
Yes,
like that,
yes.
and the issue is that
Yes.
it's gotten lost in this whirlwind where
Yes.
guys are like, no, I say this and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey guys, let's have a conversation. Okay, I feel one way, you feel the other way. Okay, let's come up with an agreement.
Yeah.
You know, compromise. It's like all of that plays into love or into relationships. And yeah.
I think that.
Wow.
I think you know, and not about offending girls or boys. I think that it's true.
Yeah.
We have gotten so accustomed to women,
Mm-hmm.
to just allowing men to speak down to us,
Yes.
to mistreat us, to disrespect us, to cheat on us. And again, it's not offending. It's not
No.
trying to offend
No.
any
No.
men out there. But this is the reality today.
Mhm.
Men, it's very hard to find a true gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Gentleman. Someone who is gentle and is a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, listen, that was my husband. But you have a lot of men, a lot of people, right? They think I'm grown. So because they're of age, a little, 21 or 25 or even 30, 35, there's some 50-year-olds that are still acting like a kid. They think I'm grown, I'm a man. No, you're not. You're still immature.
Mm-hmm.
You may be older, but that does not make you a man of wisdom,
Mm,
right?
wiser.
A wise
Right.
man. And I think as far as,
Okay.
what you shared, you're the opposite of that, right? And you may have a few friends that aren't like you, but women that have not ever had that don't know how to receive that. It's not that they're not trying to embrace it, but in their head is like, why are you being so nice? I'm not used to this. You know, I was with someone before, and they said that they love me, but they never treated me like this. They never opened the door for me. They never really, paid for everything, whatever the situation is, right? And this is the confusion about love and loveless. Because, I have shared before a few scriptures, and, the word says do everything in love. So, but what is love? Love is kind, love is gentle, and just like what Johnny said, the L is what? Listen, observe, visualize,
and express.
Listen, we got it down here.
Here we go.
But we need to know that not everyone sees it like that. And if you do not have a relationship with God, let's be true, with the Lord, then you're not gonna know what love is. And so on the other side of it, you want to love so much, and you're being pushed away.
Yes.
So where do we find a medium happy? Now, I know that you've been in some relationships, right? And you felt like they wouldn't receive what you were doing, or you were too clingy. Why do you feel and think that you were too clingy? Or that you felt like you needed to be with that person 24/7?
Because of past relationships.
Because you've been hurt before.
Like there's the issues of being hurt, distrust, but at the same time, it's kind of me now displaying how my parents loved on me.
Right.
That's a difficult thing, because it's like my parents always wanted the best. They always, and so I'm trying to do that too, and be like, hey, just text me when you get home. Hey, I just want to know you're having a good day. Hey, like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm okay. Just okay? Like,
That's it.
you
That's
like,
it.
that, like, what's going on, and it's tough, because it's like, it's coming from like a genuine heart, but sometimes it comes off as, oh, well, you're being too much.
You feel rejected.
It's like, but it's not like that.
It's interesting to see a young
Yeah.
man see things differently than others, right? Miranda, what are your thoughts as you're listening to him? Because you're listening, you're grasping onto this.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to say I just put two and two together that I think a while ago, and I don't want to get emotional, but did you do a video about suicide?
Yes.
A good couple videos.
I saw
So-
that.
Do you have a page?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your page name?
Save one.
I should, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I just put that together that this is the same boy.
Yes. Yeah.
No, he's not a boy.
I'm sorry.
Man.
Man. Sorry, I'm an old lady, so.
She
I am an old lady. So I don't want to get emotional, but I found that video. You have no idea of who I am. I have no idea who you are, but I found that video somebody else shared.
I shared it.
You shared it, and then I was a gentleman. Like, I think it was a boy.
Marco has shared
Or
it.
Marco. Okay, I don't know him, but
I've told to you about him.
yeah. So she connected me to Marco. I added him. I listened to a few of his spoken word too. Okay. So he shared your video, and I watched it, and I, without getting too far into it, I definitely have a spot for that. A lot of suicide in my life, and when I was listening, I was like, "Is this?" Again, you are a man, but I was like, "This young man did the most." I couldn't believe. I was like, "I have to share this," and I wrote something in response to that video, and I shared it. And then a friend of mine who's struggling with deep depression, who's older than she's my age. She was like, "Who is that boy?" Man. Sorry,
Young
she said
adult.
boy. Because in the video, you gotta understand, we're in our 30s. We're like,
I know.
you seem young.
You got that young look.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
he
You
does.
look way younger.
Listen,
I'm
I just
23.
shaved this morning.
I'm glad you're 23, but I was like, in the video, I thought you were
You're
younger.
younger, yeah.
So I'm watching it. It's okay, and I'm like, I was blown away because I'm like, wait a minute. There is actually men, boys, Jews, whatever, however we want to use it, that are in that place where they have done enough work within themselves, introspection, have a relation with the Lord, that they can get out, be bold, be vulnerable. That video was vulnerable. And I had no idea who you are. I could cry right now because I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same man that did that video, and you have no idea that I shared it. I had no idea. So that's a God thing. But what I'm feeling right now is, yes, there are lots of men out there that are ready to love women.
Mhm.
And that's a humbling thing because you're right. A lot of, and I'm guilty of this, I've been guarded. I feel like I can do everything on my own. I'm an independent woman, blah, 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 that whole deal. Because I'm like, wait, are there men out there that want to seek God with their partner? Are there men out there that have already done that work and are ready to be present in a woman's life and love that woman like Christ loved the church? Does that exist? And you can get stuck in a place of feeling like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm 32 years old. I'm not married. I'm like, Lord, where are they at? That's how I feel. But at the same time, you can't be stuck in like a pessimistic view of like, they don't exist. God's not going to send me the right person. And then to also say that it is a blessing to hear that you are 23, so you're almost 10. Well, I'm not sure my age, but 10 years younger than me. And
You
you're
shared already.
but that's where you are. You're giving women and men hope to say, yeah, that there is a, let's call it a remnant, right? Like people that are chosen by God, men and women that are ready to have those relationships and give that sense of love. And no, we're not perfect. You know, God is perfect, but we are not. And that's why I love the Lord, because I know that I'm not. But I also can see that I need to realize that there are other men and women out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just I know we live in a broken and fallen world, but there are people out there that have a heart for that, a heart for true love and what that means.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
I know her mind was going because I know her, you know, she's like my daughter, but so I know I'm looking at her and I'm like, her mind is just going. I'm like, that's why I called her out. But I think that we are, you know what's beautiful about this? That you were able to identify that that's how your parents were with you, and that's a generational thing.
Yeah.
You know, so at least you're young enough that through your walk with Christ, you will be able to break that, so you don't pass that on to your kids, because you don't want your kids to feel suffocated.
Right.
Because we want to love on them. We don't want them
Exactly.
to hurt. We don't want no one hurting them.
Right.
We want to love so much, but at the same time, the truth is that we're going to hurt, and we're
Right.
going to have to experience some unfortunate things. Do we have to be wise and use wisdom and discernment? Absolutely. Absolutely. As a parent, we do. But do we love on them so much that if they fall, we're like, oh my, no, okay, get up, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a medium happy, right? Like, so, Marisol, you're listening. One of the things that, as he was saying, that came to my mind, there are people out there that truly, genuinely want to love and do, but because we're so accustomed to the secular world environment, that for some reason we attract those because that's what we know, instead of going to Christ-like minded person, right? The one that walks like the Lord, with love, with humility, loving on people, helping on people, being selfless. We tend to go to the bad boys or whatever, or bad girls, people that are not really grounded. And so it's important for us to understand that although, and there's a lot of people, because I know for a fact that there are people out there that they want to be loved. They want to be loved because they've never been loved, or they felt rejected, or they went through a trauma, but they continue to go through the same cycle. The bleeding keeps going. So when does the bleeding stop? When do we cut that? When do we grab to the what is it? The garment of Jesus, right?
Yes.
We want to, when is it that we get to that, instead of going to the same kind of people? We're attracted to the same kind. Have you ever noticed that you tend to be attracted to the same similar kind of woman, even though you know that you really shouldn't be with her because
Gotcha. He's like, yeah. He's like,
Some, yeah.
yeah.
It's,
But why? Why you think that is?
I don't know. It's just been something I've always been stuck with, I guess, is I think I start to see things, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I met this person through so and so, or this person lives close to me, and I met them some other way, or this person knows my parents' family from Puerto Rico, like they actually knew each other back in the day. So it's like through those kind of ways, I'm trying to, oh, okay, maybe God lined us up. Maybe, oh, okay, so it comes down to, I guess, trying to think of coincidences, because I don't use the term coincidences because I don't believe in that, but in this situation I would, because the whole time I'm like, no, like it was planned, it was like this, it was like this, like how can you explain how I met this person when,
Right.
you know, and it's just like,
You're
okay,
trying to reason.
and like one of the biggest things I always push for is like, I don't know, when you ask someone, okay, what do you look into, like your future spouse, you know, mine was always full Hispanic. So that was kind of part of the
Rule thing.
yeah, which it's good, but it's just like,
Do you sometimes think in your head that if I love them enough, they'll change? I can change them.
sometimes, because the issue is that it usually, everyone says start a relationship out as friends first. That friendship probably lasts a week, and then already going for more, you know, and that is a very crucial issue, because of, you get so wrapped up, you don't see the red flags because your feelings are involved and everything else, and then boom, you're locked. And once those feelings are so strong, now you start to see it all, and then you're like, well, you mean so much to me, I want to work this out. You mean so much to me, I don't want to lose you, so let's just work it out, you know, and you're trying to compromise, because then that's then when you compromise your morals.
Right. What happens is a lot of times we want someone to love us so much that we lose our own self, and we forget to love ourselves first. We need to remember that if we don't love ourselves, we're no good to no one. We can't pour out from an empty glass. If we don't love ourselves, we can't pour out and give love to others. And I think that so many people want to be loved so much that they're pouring out every emptiness that they have, thinking that that's love, and it's really not love. They lose themselves in that, right? It becomes about that other person, and then there's really no love at all. It's just a feeling. And we think that we try to put ourselves in the place of God. I can fix this. I can help them. I can show them. I can love on them. They'll love me if I keep being this nice. Am I true or no?
Yeah, because, dang, you know what just hit?
No, but you're going to tell me.
Love is an action.
Right.
You want to know what the feeling is? Lust.
Yes.
Because you just simply said it, you know, because you're so focused on that feeling rather than feeling the love. So I feel like love and lust, to an extent, go hand in hand, but lust is more the feeling, and that's when you forget what love really is. Because then you're saying, oh, okay, well, I love you, but I'm over here doing X, Y, and Z. I love you, while I'm cheating on you with this other girl that now I love too. Why do you love her? Because you're lusting out both of them. Because you don't know what love is.
Right.
You know?
As a young adult, and you've had some experiences already, and you're quite mature for, you know, someone your age, because there's a lot of 23-year-olds out there that they don't care. They're going to do them, and that's it. But in the perfect world of love, right? In the world of true love, and in someone that you would want to be married to for the rest of your life and have children with, what would that love look like to you?
A lot of happiness, a lot of fun, a lot of jokes, you know, but at the same time, those moments when you have your serious conversations, when you have, like, kind of like they say, you know, your best friend, the person you call when you're going through something, you know, like, hey, you know, I just had a really bad day at work, but, like, can we just talk? Can you just hear me out?
Right.
You know, like, and then with kids, you know, it's like, I'm gonna be the best dad. Because I'm like, you know, when I gotta drop my kids off at high school, roll down that window,
Ish.
say, I love you. Don't screw up at school today. I love you so much, and just want to embarrass them. But
Is that what your parents did with you?
Oh no.
Okay.
But that's definitely what I'm gonna do. But it comes down to like just respect, you know, like there's a love, but there's also the respect, you know, and that's something I really want to value in my relationships with my family, my kids, my spouse, you know, like, okay, there's gonna be days we have disagreements. There's gonna be days where we're not gonna want to talk to each other like all day long. But I always said, no matter how bad we may get into arguments or whatever, every night it ends with a kiss goodnight, and we're sleeping in the same bed. No one's getting the couch. You think I'm moving to the couch? That's you moving to the couch because I'm not moving. Because
Right.
I'm here to say, all right, we may be upset with each other, but that doesn't change how I feel about you. You know, and I feel like sometimes that's where things get lost, is that a lot of people are so strong on holding those grudges, you know, and I'm like, dude, like, why are we crying over spilled milk? You know, it's like, I've gotten into arguments with people about the most childish stuff, like, oh, why are you driving that way? Because I wanted to drive that way. Why did I have to go the path that you normally go? Like, my bad, I wanted to go around this way because I get to see more trees or whatever the reason, you know? And, like, sometimes people would get, like, genuinely upset about that. And I'm
I
like,
believe Marisol can relate to
I
that.
could very so.
yeah.
Marisol.
Previous, okay.
She's laughing. I'm like, he's preaching to her.
Yes. No, it's just
It's
silly.
all of us.
You know what it is? Because we want what we want.
Mm-hmm.
We want our own way. You know, we want this. At the end of the day, come on. It's compromising.
Exactly.
And let's get along at night. Like you said, okay, you won. Apologize. Because a lot of times unforgiveness. We carry that on and on and on.
And
We-
that's just opening a door.
Yeah, and every time I'm sorry, but no, they'll bring it back on, or you might bring it. You know, it's just at the end of the day, it's nonsense. It's really petty stuff.
It is petty.
It's petty stuff.
And I can relate to this because I remember there was a season, the beginning of our marriage, where we would not talk for weeks, and I'd be happy. I'd be so happy, and that's not love. And today, I'm apologizing, or you're apologizing, we're apologizing, but you're going to give me a kiss, I'm giving you a kiss, we're going to say I love you, good night, God bless you, and that's how it's been, you know. And in a marriage, you can't, because when you stay angry, and you don't go back and say, I'm sorry, because there's so much pride. That's not love. Pride is not love. That's being very selfish. But when you love someone, you're very selfless. And you show that love. It's like you said, action. You show the love of action by humbling yourself, saying, look, I'm really sorry, blah, 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 blah. I know that the Lord will convict me immediately and say, you know, you shouldn't have said this. And I'll go to my husband and say, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said this to you. I love you, you know. And he'll be like, oh, that's okay. I said, no, it's not. You know, we can't take those relationships and the people we love, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kid, because a lot of times parents do not ever say to their child, I'm sorry, forgive me for not being there for you the way I should have, forgive me for letting you be in that bad situation, forgive me for not paying attention more to what was going on. You know what I mean?
One of the things I just wanted to just point out, I hope I'm loud enough, is that being emotionally available. What I'm hearing from Johnny, he's very emotionally available. That doesn't mean he's all over the place with his emotions. It means that he's emotionally available. And that doesn't need to just come from men, it needs to come from women, because it is not just a thing where guys are shut off, they don't want to talk about things. No, women need to be emotionally available. And I'm speaking to myself here. Like, there is a level of vulnerability that has to be met on both ends. Pride will choke that up. So she made a really great point. Pride will take away the ability to be emotionally available. Because I'm right, they're wrong, cut it off, stop speaking, neglect, and then we sow seeds of bitterness. But to hear a young man say the things that he's saying shows there is an emotional availability there. And that doesn't mean he hasn't had a tough life. It doesn't mean that we haven't had tough situations, but that we are not allowing it to silence us and to keep us from what God wants, and that is love. And it is a loving relationship. But being emotionally unavailable, the other side of the coin, will take that away. It'll steal it right from underneath you. Because you cannot have a relationship being emotionally unavailable. And again, I'm speaking to myself. Like, it's not.
Barbara, I know you've been kind of quiet here. I know that you had shared at one of the episodes that it was hard for you because of what had happened to you. So you knew you loved your husband, you married him, he respected you, you went through that, but it was still hard. There was still a wall there. Would you like to share that?
Sure. So just like how she mentioned the emotional availability, I think my husband struggled with that in our relationship, in our marriage, and I'm one to be like very clingy, so to speak, because for me that's how I expressed my love. So when we've gone through our hardships, I felt like I would be too overwhelming on him, wanting to have like a conversation, and he would not be emotionally available. And that was like the really hardest part of our marriage. Thankfully, I could say that we, through therapy and through just, I feel like our marriage has evolved into a healthier space. I think he's willing to be vulnerable because for him and his experiences with his parents and just in general with relationships, he was never the type of guy that would commit to someone or to feel that he could come undone. And when we met, we were young. And for me, I was very clingy, and I think over time that damaged a lot of how we first started. We started as friends. We started as best friends, and we were very comfortable with each other in the beginning because that's what happens. But then later on, when you go through your relationship and then your marriage, you start to realize that you've cultivated something that was not really truly what was honorable to God and honorable in a relationship. And so that entails, and the results of that are not good, so you bring that on to your relationship thinking that these are the expectations or you set a high standard. But it kind of it's counterintuitive, and so you end up just having bitterness, and like you just feel like you're too much, and then the other person feels like they whatever they do is not enough.
Right.
So he always felt like it was never good enough. And I always felt like, well, I also feel like whatever I do is never good enough. But I think over time we've been able to like really come to a point where we're able to talk to each other. Even it's funny because you talk about the whole vulnerability thing and the emotional availability, and yesterday was our first conversation about him being overseas and like him talking about how lonely he got. And I didn't know that, how it was lonely for him during his deployment. And yesterday he opened up to me about that, and I was like, well, why didn't you talk to me about that? Like, and I don't know if that's something, like you're over there, you're miles and miles away, and we're both dealing with different situations. We both feel lonely, but he kind of uncovered that yesterday, and I was just like, wow. So there's things that we have to speak about and that we have to go over with before he leaves again, and to make sure that we are nurturing that aspect of our relationship, because if not, that's not going to be a good thing when he leaves,
I think that, thank you for sharing. I think that in every relationship, we all need hope, right?
Yes.
We all need faith, but the greatest of all is love. And, there's that love language, there's that communication, there's that, for me, the most educational part of all of this for today was that for men, for people, I don't want to say just men, but for people, it tends to be very hard to be able to acknowledge, I get this from my parents, or I get this because this happened to me. You know, we've shared a lot about rejection and trauma, and a lot of people don't understand where did that come from. But he was able to acknowledge that he gets that because his parents loved him, overloved him, which is not bad. It's a great thing. It's better to be overloved than neglected
Amen.
and rejected.
Right.
Because, you know, everyone here has felt rejected in their family. If you listen, if you go back to December and January, everyone has felt rejected. Everyone has experienced a trauma, you know, and to be able to hear that your parents showed you love, that is a blessing.
It is.
And it's something that you need to, you made me want to cry. It's something that you need to take and embrace,
Yes.
because for you to be able to sit here today and say, my parents loved me so much that they wanted to protect me. We know that our parents love us, but no one really here can say that their parents did that to that extreme.
No.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking about the piano. I want to make that clear because we've all missed something.
Yeah.
Right.
We all were rejected somewhere, and it's not that our parents didn't love us. And we've shared before that, you know, a lot of times our parents didn't know how to love us or show us that love because they themselves didn't receive it. So it's great that you learn from it. So this way you get to apply it to your spouse, your future spouse, the one that God has for you. Don't get ahead of yourself. The Lord came to remind Abraham, walk before me, faithfully, blameless, and righteous. Don't get ahead of me. Don't go in front of me. Just wait on me. And I will, you know, he's going to direct your steps.
Right.
And he's, you know, yes, a man is going to find his wife. But you want to make sure that that's the wife that the Lord says, this is who I have for you.
And you'll know.
And you're gonna know. Don't go against that water, you know, the river. Don't go against the current of the water. Make sure that you're going with it. And the best thing that we can all take from this and learn is that we go along with it. If it feels right, if it feels good, if you have to struggle to receive love, that's not love.
Amen. Amen.
It's not. If you have to feel like I'm gonna fight and give all of me so that they can love me, don't waste your time. That's not love. It has to be equally, you know, work on it together. You know what I mean? Because you're young, you're awesome, and I'm sure we're probably gonna have some girls asking about Johnny, but we're gonna do the interview. We're gonna do the interview. These are the requirements for Johnny.
You're gonna have to take a number for Johnny.
Yes, and we're gonna do the interview. Just kidding. God is gonna direct his steps. You know, but we love Johnny, right? He's been a blessing here. Is there anything that any of you would like to? What have you taken from today? We have a few more minutes. What have you taken? We're gonna start with Essie.
I actually do have a question for you. I've been holding it in for, I was like, I'm gonna wait till the right time to ask. So you did say that like the way you love, you know, it probably stems from the way your parents loved you.
Yeah.
But then you also said that, I may be mistaken, but you also mentioned that part of the reason why you tend to be clingy in the relationships due to the past relationships that you've been through. So my question is, do you also think that the reason why you love in such manner is because of maybe you overthink in certain situations, or insecurities are building up in those situations based on your past relationships?
That's a good question.
Definitely. Yeah, there's insecurities with it, but it's with I've struggled because I've had people cheat on me, so there's that. So that's where it gets hard sometimes. But it's also like, yeah, my parents did a great job, you know? But it was when it came down to that relationship standpoint, it was, I try and put my all in. And so one of the issues I personally have, that I know some people do too, is that once I'm in, it goes fast.
All the way in.
It goes fast.
You all in,
It-
like
like
Jesus.
it's bad. It's It's bad, and so that's where I've been hurt because I put so much trust, I put so much out there, and something that a lot of my friends like to say, they're like, Johnny, I wish I could be like you because you wear your heart on your sleeve. I'm like, and I hate it. I'm like, I hate it.
The guys always
I wish I
on the
could,
other
but I'm
side.
like,
Yes.
you really don't want it.
Yes.
I'm like, you really don't. I'm like, if everyone does it, then sure, now you want it because everyone does it and everyone knows how to accept it and love it. But it's difficult because it's like, it's simply, just trying to find that acceptance, and sometimes it's kind of like forcing the acceptance.
Right.
Saying like, you know, like, all right, well, but I'm very sweet, but I'm very caring, but I'm this, but I'm that, but I'm that. And then everyone's like, okay, but what about the times you fail? So it's hard because even though I'm very genuine and I try and love the best I can, I'm still human. I still lack that. I still struggle. And when that happens, there's kind of a more weight that carries on to it. So then I'm constantly apologizing. Like you could ask anyone. I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry, and I won't ever let it go because I'll always be apologizing. You know, I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I did this. And like,
We need more
I'm
men
sorry,
like
I'm
you
sorry.
because I know that some men, they don't like to apologize. You know, they have a very difficult time apologizing.
You can look here, don't look there.
And there are some people that don't have a hard time apologizing to a puppy, but they have a hard time apologizing to the wife. But I know it's just a joke between my husband and I.
Can I ask him?
Yes.
Essie, you hit it on the spot. You took my question to him.
Oh.
Because it's true. Hurting, you know, when you hurt so much, because I know we all been hurt, maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know, again, at a young age, you give it all.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be loved. So you're looking for that back. And then sometimes you're protecting and, you know, and you do become needy. It's not because I just like spending time with that person, you know, and sometimes you do, and then we get misunderstood. A lot of times we don't, no, this is not what I'm saying, this is not what I want to do. Maybe I'm not coming across right, but if we don't speak it, so again, the low self-esteem, the insecurities pile up. We don't know who we are, we try to be something we're not. That comes across, and that's how they see us sometimes.
And then sometimes you tend to put those people in a box.
Yes.
And then you start to overthink, and then it's like when they do something that's slightly off, you're just like,
yes.
are you okay? It's like
Right.
something
And
wrong.
reasoning. So the lies, and we believe the lies
In our
in our thoughts, because the battle's in the mind. You know,
Again,
we
it's
all
a
know.
feeling, it's not a being, and we're human beings,
Right.
not human feelings.
Exactly.
So we get it twisted all the time. It's true.
Right.
Because we go so much by our flesh.
Right, and then we attract those people because that's all we know, and we connect so easily that we don't. And then as a woman, I never thought I could get better. Again, just, you know, yeah, you might look pretty, you might have it all together, but inside, we're hurting and broken. You know, we came from brokenness and hurt and pain that people could say, hey, she's got it. No, I'm broken, I'm hurt. You know, you go through, but until you express and you deal with those things, how did it start? Let's go back. And, you know, so yes, as a young man, you've grown and you're going through the process, you're speaking about it, you're sharing to all old, you know, young adults. They need to hear that. And they need, and they need to see that, yes, like she said, there are men out there. And never, it's like, wait a second, God created all of us into his image. And you know what? He don't create junk. God don't create junk. So you know what? You just give it all to him and just say, you know what, Lord, you got the best for me. I'm not going to settle.
Right.
Enough of settling, because I've settled in my life. But it's my wrong choices too. I've made wrong decisions in my life. You know, nobody's perfect. But you work on it too, you know. So you want to grow. You want to be empty. You want to just say, okay, let me lay everything down. And let's look at those places that we need to grow from. And one step. You celebrate one step at a time.